Boom! Crunch! Pinecone? Greetings. I am Monster D. And what have I here today? Do you see something on this table that is interesting to you? Why, whoa, I just scared myself. You know why? I picked this up and a little teeny tiny insect just flew off of it. Weird, huh? I did not expect that. Well, what is this? What is this thing? Have you seen one of these before? What do you call that? Is that a pine cone? Have you ever seen a pine cone before? I am sorry, I am suddenly still looking for a little insect. He actually ran to the end of my page and took flight. Have you ever had that happen before? Have you ever looked at a pine cone or anything and just had a surprise insect appear and fly out? Do you think there might be more in here? Maybe, I do not know. Have you seen pine cones before? Do you usually see just one pine cone by itself? Or do you see a lot of pine cones all together? What do you think? And where do you usually find pine cones at? Do you find pine cones in your backyard? In your front yard? Do you find pine cones under bushes? Or under trees? Or do you find them in water? Where do you find pine cones? Have you ever picked one up and looked at one real closely? How do they feel? Do they feel kind of hard? Kind of spiky? See, those are like little, what are those, like spikes? Or plates? What would you call those? You hear that sound? When I sort of rub against it, it makes that like a scratchy sound. Interesting, huh? What would you do with a pine cone if you had one? And look, I have another pine cone. You see that? Pretty neat, huh? Two pine cones. Are these pine cones the same? Look, what is different about them? Is this one big? And is this one little? This one's bigger anyway. I mean, it's not big compared to Monster D, but it's big compared to this one. Do you think they're the same kind of pine cone? Did they come from the same place? Maybe I'm your big brother.
Yeah, I could be your little sister. Yeah.
What do you think? You ever make your pine cones talk before? What would you have your pine cones say? Hey, I wonder what happens if we make them rub against one another. Well, actually, they almost don't rub. Hey, look, it can make a sound. I should probably be careful because I do not know if there are more insects in here or not. I don't see any more coming off. Why do you think there would be an insect inside of a pine cone or hanging out underneath the plates of a pine cone? What do you think it was doing? Where do you think it went? Will it come back to the pine cone? Very interesting, huh? Well, I hope you've enjoyed exploring this pine cone with me, these pine cones. Do they remind you of anything, by the way? You know what? There's something special that a pine cone reminds me of. Can I draw for you really, really quick? Let me see if I can do this. They actually remind me of a really weird animal. So I'm going to draw something that is going to look very much like a pine cone, but it's not a pine cone. See that? Starting to look like a pine cone, huh? Any idea what this might be? Ugh. Have you ever seen any other animals? Any animals that look like pine cones yourself? Do you think there are other things that look like a pine cone? What do you think? Why would there be an animal that looks like a pine cone? I'm going to keep going. It's got a kind of a really long tail. Oh, and now I'm going to draw another leg. Some little claws. Have you seen anything like this before? I think maybe it has ears right there. And I'm going to stop right now. And what is that? Have you ever seen an animal that looked like that before? This is an animal called a pangolin. A pangolin. I think sometimes they call them, I don't know if they call them spiny anteaters or what else. Usually different animals have different names depending upon who you talk to. But it's a pangolin. And see? It sort of looks like a pine cone that turned into an animal. Would you go and look for some videos? Sorry. I thought there might have been another insect on me, but I think it was just paper. Anyway, you never know what's going to appear here in Monster D. So, a pangolin, a pine cone. Ooh, and what letter do they both start with? Pangolin, pine cone. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you stay monsters, and please, won't you give me a monster bing?